guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry, and today I'm going to make an apple pie because I have an abundance of apples. I canned applesauce yesterday and I overbought on the apples, so I've got plenty for eating for lunches and for pie today. I noticed one of them has a little bruise here, so I'll use that for the pie and cut that bruise out. And that way the eating apples, I'm sure I'm the one who bruised that, but I've got my pie dough mix, and this is how I do it. I want to do a video for you, and I will, on freezing back pie dough. But what I typically do is I put a cup and a quarter, cup and a half, usually about a cup and a half. I want to make sure I've got enough flour here of all-purpose flour and 8 tablespoons of shortening. You can use shortening, you can use butter, you can use lard. I use lard, so today it's lard. We need a little bit of salt for that pie crust, maybe a teaspoon or half a teaspoon, and you're ready to go. Now I use a pastry cutter, but after I do that, I've got it in a metal bowl. I put this in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 hours, and it's been in there for 2 or 3 hours. So everything is cold, and I'm going to get in here and work the dough. And let me just tell you, the dogs are they're so excited. They want to go and be outside with my husband because he's moving all over the farm here. So tractor's going. I call it a tractor, but it's actually a lawnmower. But that's okay. Okay, so you're just going to break this up until you've got little tiny crumbled pieces. And then we're going to move on to the next step. Hold, please. Okay, now that I've got this all worked together, I'm going to put it back in the refrigerator until I am ready to assemble the pie. And I've got ice water sitting aside. Make sure it's super cold. I want this to stay nice and cold. You can actually put it in the freezer as well, but I am going to leave it be and put it in the refrigerator, and we're going to get to working on these. Okay, so I'm sure you've all seen how to peel and cut an apple, but some people want to see the whole process, and I'm okay with that. I did enough apple cutting yesterday, and so you can do it one of 2 ways. You can take the whole apple. These have already been washed. Make sure you wash them, get any wax off, and you can literally go around. And this doesn't take so much of the flesh of the apple. You don't have to dig down deep with this. And get that all peeled. I do have an apple peeler corer thing, but to me this is just as fast. And I can get any spots off that I might miss. Okay, so you're just going to get yourself, and I've got fruit fresh out. I'm saving these peels. I'll take them to the neighbor's chickens. I guess I don't need the salt anymore. So I'm going to set this aside so I can cut. Then you're going to quarter this apple, cut it in half. And then what I like to do, get the seeds, any seeds that fall, get them out of there. I like to go ahead and cut it into wedges that I would have in a pie, right? And any additional trimming that you need to do is going to happen now. And so you're going to take your paring knife. See, I've got a little bit of skin there. Take that, cut that off, get the core out, and there's my slice. And then same with this side. You guys can see that, right? And if you want to cut your slices thinner, you can. I don't see a need, but you can. I want a nice big piece of apple in my apple pie. With the ice cream, And with every apple, I'm going to sprinkle a little fruit fresh. Make sure to get that whole core out of there, because that's tough and you don't want that in your pie. Or your apple dumpling, or, ooh, we might have to make some of those. If you guys want to see how I make apple dumplings, let me know. I haven't made them in a long time, but those are good too. Maybe I'll make those for a family dessert lunch. We typically have lunch with the family on Saturdays. And, oh, see, there's a couple pieces here of the skin. I'm not too worried about it, but if you are, just get them off with your paring knife. Okay. And then we're going to sprinkle some fruit fresh. Not from that side. And these apples don't brown very easily. There we go. So we got one. Let's make sure we get that one with the bruise. Where's the one I thought? Oh, that might have a bruise, but oh, there it is. So it's got a little bit of a bruise. So we're gonna use that to our advantage and just cut it out of there. It was nice washing these because they really didn't have a huge amount of wax on them. And okay, so that little bruise I can cut right out of there. Let me just tell you, these make a delicious applesauce. I made that applesauce with no added sugar, nothing added to it. So you can go watch that video if you'd like. It was super easy. A lot of, I didn't peel, or I cored the apples. That was it. I didn't peel them because I knew I was going to be running through the food mill, and it just gave the apple pie or the apple sauce a beautiful blush of color. So it's usually 3, 4, 5 apples will make a pie, depending on the size and the volume of your pie plate. I'm going to be doing probably a pretty deep pie. I like my apple pies to be really full. Okay. About to have a chef's treat here. These smell so good. They're making my mouth water because I know how juicy and sweet these are. And they hold up to cooking, which is very nice. Usually I would use a Granny Smith apple, but these were on sale, and this is what I have. And if you've never had apple pie or anything apple with Cosmic Crisp, I recommend it. And that bruise, we're going to cut that right out of there. Okay. All right. There we go. A little bit of fruit fresh. Do. Toss, toss, toss. I think that one looks like it has a little bruise, so we'll see. I'm just gonna keep on moving. And you can take this vegetable peeler and go around like my grandma used to take a paring knife, and she would have that apple peeled all in one fell swoop. I'm not that girl. I mean, I could do it, but I don't care. Yeah, there was a little bit of a bruise there. It's hard to get. Oh, there's another one. Hard to get these apples to market without a bruise or two, right? Even at home, you're picking them and one falls on the ground, it's going to have a little blemish under the skin there. They're pretty delicate. Okay. And here we go. I think you guys get the picture, right? Just cut those little bruises out. And you're ready to go. Okay. When I've got all the apples cut up. So now it's time to get our pie crust. We got all of our apples here. It's probably more than enough, but we can eat. I'll put the slices in a baggie and we'll have them for snacks. Any that's left over. I'd rather have enough than not enough. Does that make sense? And, okay, hopefully you can see okay. And we'll get this show on the road. Oop. Okay. And excuse the dogs in the background. Start little by little adding your water. Don't add too much at one time. And you can do this in a food processor. The blades tend to get hot though, and we want to keep these ingredients as chilled as possible. So, and we just, until we can form a dough ball and you can hold it together into a ball, that's what we want. Oop, there went an ice cube. Okay, we're going to see how that works out. Probably going to pull that out. We're getting close. I just love these. They're actually for like a sourdough starter, but I use them all the time for everything. We're almost there. You can see it's trying to come together. Once you can get it into form a ball, not quite yet. And this is going to be a top and bottom crust, so there's more to be added. You know what I mean? No exact measurements because each area might be a little more humid today than in your area. So, but we are getting there. I've still got some dry stuff over here, and we'll get some more cold water just in case. But we're going to get it. I think we got it. When you can work it into a ball, that's what we want. And it's almost there. Not quite. I'll be right back. Okay, I had to add a little bit more, just a couple of tablespoons more of water. In fact, I might do a little dribble just to gather up the rest of what's on the bottom of this. And now you can see you've got a pretty good dough ball that's cleaned up everything off this. We don't want to work it. If your hands are too warm, you're going to work this dough into something you don't want. So you don't want it tough, that's for sure. Let's get our pastry cutter and get this just about in half. Cut it in half. Set that aside. This one can go over here and go ahead and start kneading, or not kneading, but rolling it out. Let's get that rolling going. And if you want a bunch of layers, you can flip it over and do all that, but I'm not going to do that. I want to keep it as flaky and wonderful. And we'll see if it comes out the shape of Georgia or the the shape of a circle. Okay. Just keep working until you got it big enough to put over your pie plate, right? And if you need a little flour to keep it from sticking to your surface, that's okay. We are going to do an egg wash. I don't think any pie should be adorned without egg wash. You got that one spot that wants to tear, and you can put it back together. Look at that. We're getting it. We're getting it. Now, hopefully it's not sticking to my board at all. A little bit it is, but not bad. Okay, so what we're going to do now is generously get that flour. Roll this up onto your rolling pin so you can get your plate under here and then unroll it right there, just like that. And get that on in here. And with very, very delicate, oh, this looks so good. I'm super excited about this. And then you can cut the excess off. Let's see, we're going to turn these edges under first. Let's do that. Some of this was a little bit oblongish. But if you're like me, you like that pie crust. Who doesn't like pie crust, right? So we're going to cut some off right here with my handy dandy paring knife. Just like that. Not so close that you don't have something to tuck under, because we want that. And we'll just put that with our other pie top crust. So just roll everything under, and then once it's under, then you can go to pinch to give you a beautiful edge, right? And I just do my thumbs between each other. You can do, lay your fingers down and do between if you like. When I had artificial nails, that was about the only way I could get a decent looking crimp. Look how pretty. It's coming out so pretty and so nice. I'm very excited about this. Okay, so there's the bottom of my pie. We're going to set that aside and get to working on this side. And you can lattice the crust, but either way, you're going to have to roll this out. So we've got to roll this out. As soon as I get this rolled out, I will show you what I do next. Okay, now I've got my other crust rolled out. It rolled out easier, actually. I'm not sure why, but maybe I got my pie crust mojo going. Okay, so we're going to let this sit off to the side for just a few minutes while I get busy on the filling, and we are just about there. So let's do this with now the oven just booped because, well, it's time. Okay, so I need to get all my ingredients. For the filling, you want your 5 cups of peeled sliced thin. I don't know how they measure that. A third of a cup of brown sugar, a third of a cup of white sugar, and a fourth of a cup of all-purpose flour. So we're going to go a fourth of a cup of all-purpose flour. Okay. Exact measuring, And we've got our brown sugar. Again, I'm going to get one of those spurtles, which is, which makes it easy to, get this incorporated, mixed in. Does that make sense? And you could actually do this in a bowl and then toss this all together, but it doesn't really matter. We're gonna make it work. 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar. Mm-hmm. Not that we need it, right? Phone ringing. Oh, I do want a little bit of nutmeg. And not much, but fresh nutmeg is always good. Let's get our 1/3 of a cup of, I must have put that lid on backwards, of white sugar. Because it's pie, okay? Put your lid facing forward. Okay. And we need a, let's see, we've got, I always put vanilla in, so that's up to you whether you want to do vanilla or not. Just a splash. Not a lot, but a splash. Come on. It's a teaspoon of cinnamon. That looks like a teaspoon. And then last but not least, we need a little bit of lemon juice. So a tablespoon. Let me get a measuring spoon for that one. Tablespoon of bottled lemon juice. And of course, the drawer did not shut. And here we go. Get your lemon juice. It makes my mouth water. Just looking at it and thinking about it. Okay. You're going to mix this up. Get it kind of combined. Where all the apples are coated in that good mixture. Okay. And this is going to be absolutely wonderful. Okay. Now back to the pie plates. It's kind of a dance, right? I do have an egg for the egg wash, but we're going to go ahead and get these apples in here. Pile it high, right? And this is messy. Get in there with your hands. Do it however you like, but I don't. My hands are clean. I've washed them about 14 times since I started this whole project, so I'm good. I thought I was going to have too many apples. I think I got just the right amount. Right? Oh, pile them up. You want it lofty because they are going to cook down and then you're going to have a wimpy pie. Wimpy pies are no good. There's no place for wimpy pies. Get your spurtle or your spatula and get the rest of that yummy goodness right there. Right on top. There we go. I don't think we could have done another apple. Maybe. Let me wash my hands. And a quick rinse here. And we'll get this top crust on. Super exciting. And my egg wash, I just did a small egg from the chickens and small egg, and now I'm going to go ahead with the egg wash once I get the top crust on. So literally, sorry, you're going to unroll it. Okay, get it all over the top there. Whoa, look at that. Oh, perfect. Perfect. I want this to be a little bit over there, a little bit more. Okay. Get it on all sides. Then you're going to come around with your paring knife and cut the excess. I would rather have too much pie crust, and we're going to crimp again. I'd rather have too much pie crust than not enough. Does that make sense? I always feel like the store-bought ones, I'm scrambling for that last little pinch. I mean, they measure it down to the wire. And this I could roll out quite possibly and make a personal pie. And I just might. That's sounds like a good plan. Or a pot pie topper. So get in here, get up under that little one down there. Let's get in, and we're going to seal these off with our thumb and our fingers. Right? Get up under there. Get up under there. And you're just going to go around that pie until you get it all, you want it all connected. And I always bake my pies with a cookie sheet or something underneath, because there's nothing worse than pie filling all over the bottom of your oven. And trust me, it happens. Okay, beautiful. Now you're going to want to vent your pie. And let's brush that pie crust with the egg wash. And it's really yellow because the yolks are so rich. That's why I actually added a little bit of cold water to help it not end up just an egg on top of my pie shell, if that makes sense. This isn't the best brush for this. I'm going to change brushes, and we're going to get this brushed, because that isn't the brush I need. You know how you have your favorites, and you know which ones do the job, and which ones make a mess? Well, that one was the mess maker. Okay. And in a 400-degree oven, this is going to go. And yeah, it's going to be wonderful. Look at that beauty. Who wants pie? Okay. Let's get some. Okay. Get any pools of the egg wash out of the crust creases here. Otherwise, you'll have an egg right there. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. Rustic pie coming up. Okay. In a 400-degree oven, and I'm so excited that this is going to be actually I'd rather have it 425. So I'm going to bump that oven up a little bit, and it's going to be able to cook. And if the crust starts getting too brown, I will put parchment paper over top of it, and I'll be back when I'm pulling it out of the oven. So guys, I just wanted to tell you, the pie that you watched me make is exactly the same. The only difference is when I put it in the oven, I knew something was wrong, because you can tell when your pie is cooking at the rate it should cook. You have to put some parchment or some kind of protection over your pie crust. Isn't it beautiful though? Look at that. So the pie you watched me make is exactly the same, except I did add about 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom into this one. That's kind of my secret ingredient to apple pie. And I didn't do it because of the honey or the Cosmic Crisp, but I did on this one, and this is Cosmic Crisp. So I thought, I need a pie redemption. So I bought a hanging thermometer for the oven. My husband calibrated the oven last night. It was 50 degrees off. So instead of 400 degrees, my oven was cooking at 350, which when it comes to a pie or these pastries, you need that steam. And I'm hoping this came out good this time, because I did it in the calibrated oven. So I'm hoping the pie redemption is here. That pie was delicious. Trust me when I tell you, it didn't go to waste. The pie crust tasted delicious. It just didn't have that flaky layers that we're used to. And that's why you want pie crust. Otherwise, might as well just throw some puff pastry on top and say, right? And Just on that note, any of you that would like to see how to make puff pastry, let me know. So I'm going to cut into this here in a minute, and I'll give you a taste test, and we'll see if I have redeemed my pie making, my pie crust, because everything was right. Everything was cold. It should have been perfect. This one, it said it was at 400, so let's see what happened. Okay, so I think we're ready to cut into it. Let's see. And I apologize. I have the dishwasher going, but oh, look how lofty that thing is. I mean, I didn't hesitate to put some apples in this. I can already tell the crust on the bottom and on the sides is better. The last crust, I felt like I had to literally go in and manhandle the bottom, which I knew how slow or how long it was taking to bake the thing, that it was not normal. And I did a taste test, and like I said, it was good. Let's get this first piece out of there. Oh, I don't have a pie scoop, but that's okay. Ooh, look at that. Yum, yum. Okay. Got you. Look at that. Big old lofty goodness. Gotta get that back up there. It's still pretty warm, so, ooh, but you can see how flaky. I'm pretty excited. I'm excited just the way it cut. I know I've got a flaky pie crust, which is why we even put pie crust on our plate, right? Okay. Let's get a fork, and we'll get a taste test for you. And I will let you know. I just didn't feel like it was fair to pretend that the other pie came out perfect, because it didn't. Stuff happens. Okay, so let's get a bite of the pie and take a peek. And the pie crust. Okay, here's the filling. Little pie crust on top. Add a quarter of a teaspoon of cardamom. You won't, oh, you'll thank me. And then I'm going to get a piece of this crust over here. This is delicious. Now we're talking. That is pie redemption. No, I'm going to do it. Probably not a cool thing, but when you get that crust on the edge, it's divine. I do hope if you get Cosmic Crisp apples in your store and they have them on sale, try it with the pie. Absolutely divine. Yummy. All right. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for staying along for the whole video. If you're not a subscriber, I hope you subscribe. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. And I can't wait to bring you more videos like this. And as the summer progresses and the fruit comes in, we're going to be making pie. What kind of pie would you like to see next? I do hope that you try this recipe, and I hope if you like this sort of content, you'll subscribe and hit that thumbs up.